Welcome to the Richmond Events podcast, where we take you inside the UK's most exclusive business forums. You'll get to meet the delegates, suppliers and speakers shaping their industries. Richmond Events. This is where business gets done.
Hello and welcome to the Richmond Retail and E-commerce Directors Forum. I'm joined with Venetia, CFO of Holland Barrett. Thank you very much, Venetia, for joining us today. Just a couple of questions about yourself and your role as CFO for Holland Barrett. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you're excited about right now for the future of retail?
I'm really excited about the customer, but I'm actually more excited about the multiple channels that the customer has to shop in. What's really interesting in the current state of retail is, there are 4 to 5 generations that have purchasing power right now, whether it's my grandmother or my mother or, but even down to my niece or even younger, 8 to 12-year-olds have Revolut cards. And they're getting influenced by so much social media and so much content that it means that for retailers, being able to have to think about what your brand is, what channel you need to be on to make sure you're catching the customer in their life cycle, especially as a health and wellness retailer, is really key. And it's a challenge, but it's actually a really interesting problem. And on top of that, the advances of technology currently and how we use that in our business is something I'm really excited about.
Okay, thank you. And what would you say is sort of the single biggest piece of advice that you could give to a retailer right now?
I think retailers are historically seen, and actually are often, hierarchical, slow, takes time, bureaucratic. That's a very big generalization. But I'm sure in most retailers there are pockets of departments that are like that. And I think being able to adapt to change is going to be very key for retailers to stay ahead. There are some fantastic businesses who have been around for 150 years, like Holland Barrett, and we've invested, hundreds of millions into our. I think we invested over 200 million last year into our capex to reinvest into our stores, to reinvest into our brand, to reinvest into our online proposition, because actually, how do I make sure that I'm still here in 150 years, right? Especially at this current pivotal point. So for retailers, being able to think beyond the next 5 years and think about how do we want to stay relevant? How do you get to leave the industry or the business that you're in and know that in 20 years' time that business still exists is actually really important. That sounds kind of a bit doomsday, right? But I think the state of retail, the state of the high street, the state of multiple channels means that the ability to adapt, the ability to change, the ability to take new technology on, the ability to, I wouldn't say think outside the box, just think completely differently is going to be absolutely pivotal.
Okay. And what would you say is the thing that keeps you most awake at night?
Well, as a CFO, probably cash, right? I always say that, right? Like my job is to make sure everyone has money and gets paid, right? I think as a CFO, it is actually about the customer, but it's about with retail trends, especially in the UK. Health and wellness is still one of the largest segments growing outside of grocery, but customers are being more choiceful about how they choose to spend their money and which brands they choose to go with. And for me, I think as footfall reduces or as people make those choices, that means I get less cash into my business, right? Mm-hmm. So making sure that we actually have strong, loyal customers or customers that shop more frequently with us, which ultimately leads into cash, is key. So I think for me, making sure that we have the right proposition for our customer is really important, because then if I don't have customers, I don't have any money, so I can't pay anybody. It's probably cash.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We've got some of your colleagues here from Holland Barrett today. So, what would your advice be to retailers why an event like this is so important for them?
Retail is a fantastic sector to be in. Even coming in today, there's 7 people I just spotted who are like, oh, hey, Venetia, I didn't know you were here. And I was like, I'm headlining. No, I wasn't like that. But, but it was really interesting because retail is it's really small and it's really close-knit. It's one of the very few sectors where it's not like overly cutthroat on, even if you're a competitor, you still know each other. People gravitate between different companies, right? So being able to firstly share perspectives and challenges, meet friends and build those relationships. A number of my really close friends are people who I've met through my professional relationship, right? So these events are really powerful to bring everyone together. But also, I think the vendors that will come that everyone can meet gives people that outside perspective, because actually it's so easy to get lost into the day to day. Being able to be taken out, having a bit of a chinwag, but then also meeting some interesting vendors, going, actually, I do have this problem. It'll be a problem in a few years, but now I know that something like that exists. We'll just kind of pocket that piece of information into someone's brain, so at some point they'll go, actually, I did meet this company a couple of months ago, let me call them. I think that's going to be really powerful, and that's why I really enjoy coming to these events.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your time, Venetia.
Thanks for having me.